good morning, everyone. We are so excited that you guys are all here. Sorry, I keep playing with my screen. I should stop doing that. We are super excited that you guys are here with us today. My name is Tiffany. I am with Alexander's Aesthetics. We've also got Wendy up here, as you can see as well. Wendy is going to go through a couple housekeeping things, and then we will get started.
All right. Hi, everybody. Just a couple things before we get started. We have shared some handouts for you guys. So I want you to kind of get used to using the control panel if you can. Usually it's on the right-hand side of the screen. There's a place there for you to download handouts. Those are only available during the webinar. Once the webinar is over, they're not accessible. We could always email them to you if you need us to, but there isn't a way that it attaches to the reminders to the emails. So just go ahead and get those downloaded. Let's see, in the questions box, we are going to be answering your questions today. We'd like to wait till the end of the presentation to do that. We'll go ahead and filter the questions, but just want to make sure everybody can see where it's at. If you can go over to the question box and just type in where you came from, that would be great. We actually have a question that they can't see us. And maybe if you guys can see us, let us know. We can see ourselves, so let me know.
I wonder.
Yeah, we're getting that they can't see us. Interesting.
I messed with stuff this morning and I knew I shouldn't.
Let's see. Webcam. Sharing our webcams.
It's not showing up the way that it did yesterday.
Oh, there are some people that can see us. We're good.
Okay.
Yep. We're good.
Well, I'm sorry if you can't see us. I did put makeup on for you guys today. I was very excited to do it. I can't see me either, so that might be a good thing.
All right. I think we're good. People can see it.
Perfect.
So we've got people from Miami, Idaho, Boston, Littleton, Colorado. Hi, Raina. Portland, Colorado Springs, San Jose, got California. Yay. San Mateo, right down the street, Los Angeles. So anyway, thank you everyone for joining. This is where you're going to be typing in questions. Feel free to type them throughout the presentation. If you have a question, I'm monitoring them while Tiffany is going to be presenting, and we'll try to get to all of them at the end. All right, everybody, with that, I'm going to pass it over to our amazing instructor, Tiffany, and enjoy today's webinar.
Here we go. So hopefully everyone, I have my carafe of coffee and I have my water as well. So I hope everyone has their drinking apparatuses for what you need throughout this presentation. I don't judge, or if you have a mimosa or a Bloody Mary, do that as well. So today we're going to go through LYCON. Super excited about that. Alexander's, if you are new to Alexander's is a wholesale distribution company. We carry all of the accessories that you need for your aesthetic room. So it's not just LYCON. We do have skincare and all of that as well. I myself, my background is I've been an esthetician since 1999, and I've been with Alexander's for about 10 years now as their hair removal educator. I still am a working esthetician, so when life goes back to the way we knew it, I will be back in my office as well working on clients. So what we're going to do today is really kind of dive into LYCON and the actual product, which we're excited about. There is a vast array of products, so I've tried to group them together to make it a little less confusing. So again, throw your questions in that question box throughout the presentation. We will definitely get to you. Also keep in mind, I am broadcasting from my kitchen right now, so I am at home, and if you have questions after, please feel free to email any of us. We got questions yesterday after we finished our last webinar, so I am here to help you with whatever questions you might have. All right, let's get into the history of LYCON. So LYCON was created in 1978 in Australia by a lovely woman named Lydia Jourdain. Now, Lydia is still in Australia. Actually, the headquarters are in Pinkenba, Australia. We thought that was a really cute name, so I thought I'd share that with you. It is used in over 63 countries. The brand has continued to expand on technologies, so we don't necessarily think of wax particular products of having an actual technology in them, but we will go through what that looks like and what that means. But LYCON is consistently trying to come up with new, different technologies and different types of products. Has multiple strip and hard waxes to choose from. So you can choose based on scent and color, you can choose based on performance. We're going to talk obviously a lot about performance, but you are definitely able to create your own specialty with the waxes that LYCON has to choose from. There are multiple pre and post products as well. So again, you can customize your waxing services based on the client that you have. Fun fact too, just so everyone knows, there's a fun fact that the Spice Girls, if you remember who the Spice Girls are, I do. They love LYCON so much they were doing a show in Chicago and they ordered LYCON for themselves to be used when they were performing their show prior to performing their show in Chicago. They wanted the estheticians to use LYCON, so they flew it in themselves. That's a fun fact. So why choose LYCON? Great question. That's generally the question that we get asked, right? So the ability to grab really short hair. That is one of our main complaints about waxing in general or hair removal is how are we getting those little tiny short irritating hairs that you see that can be left behind. LYCON can grab those. Again, we can customize your client's experience, which is really important. When we're going through this, and all of you that have seen me before, you will always, and every time you see me after, you're always going to hear me say, I want you to think of your waxing services as a skincare service, because technically it is a skincare service. So just as you would customize your facials, you can customize your waxing services as well. So we're using high quality ingredients. Lydia is very particular about what goes in the product. She's not one to, if she can't get the resins that she wants, she won't just throw something in hopes that it'll work. So she's very particular, which is great. It is economical. Also really important, right? Especially when we get back to work. You're using less product, so you're not going through it as fast, which means you don't have to order it all the time, which also means what you charge, you're going to make more off of it, which, at the end of the day, we're here to make money, right? So again, she also has wax that was specifically created for stubborn hairs. So again, those chin hairs that tease you, we can get those guys. So there's different technologies, like I said, within LYCON. Okay, here they are. So LYCON, just also keep in mind the names can get really confusing as well. So don't be frustrated with that part. It does every once in a while. I definitely still slip up myself. So LYCON, the first waxes of LYCON, we do call them the original. So that's using a pine resin. Okay. Now they all do use a pine resin, but the original LYCONs really only have very limited ingredients because they're very straightforward waxes is what I like to say. There's the pine resin, maybe one or two other ingredients. One is generally an anti-inflammatory, but there's nothing really extra fancy. There's no colors, scents, things like that in the original formulas. The LYCOTech is one of my favorite technologies. It's a newer technology and it's a mineral resin. So what is a mineral resin? It's a synthetic resin. So I want you to keep this in mind as well as we're talking about this, because I'm going to bring this up a lot. The resins in your product are what allow flexibility, and strength, okay? So your mineral resin, your synthetic resin there, that one is created for the hypersensitive, okay? Those are the ones that when you ask what should I use for sensitive skin, if there's a mineral resin, that synthetic resin in there, that's the one that we would generally guide you to, because a lot of people can have the challenge of being either allergic to the pine or beeswax blend, which is the general resins, or they can just get a little more irritated with those. The mineral resin, it creates that anti-inflammatory purpose for your product. So the LYCOTEC, that generation is that synthetic resin there. The LYCOJET, so jet meaning it dries quickly, right? So let's try to think of it that way. The jet is the strongest pine resin. So now we're basing that off the original waxes, but it's just that pine resin. So the pine that she has is one of the strongest resins that you'll find. It is also fairly pliable, so you do have slight flexibility in there. Those that use the LYCOJETs, there is a little bit, I always like to say there is a little bit of a learning curve with it, but it's a phenomenal wax. The LYCODream, so highlight on that word dream in there for you. It's a hybrid, right? So this is the best of both worlds. We're mixing that traditional and the LYCOTEC, so that traditional pine blend and that synthetic resin in there. So those together create more of a flexibility. You have more anti-inflammatory properties in there. So you're getting the best of both worlds. You're getting strength and that flexibility that the synthetic resin gives. Okay. Okay, let's get into our pre-wax products. The LYCOTANE. The LYCOTANE is your skin cleanser. It has jasmine, chamomile. It has a hospital grade antiseptic in there, so it's cleaning the skin. It's not going to dry the skin out. This particular cleanser, I do like it. It has, how I like to explain it, like a silky texture-ish to it. It cleans the skin off, but we're not dehydrating the skin, because we want to keep in mind that when we're waxing, we really want to make sure that that skin has some water moisture in there, right? We want to make sure that it's not dehydrated. So this skin cleanser is going to clean the skin of dirt, debris, all of that, but not dry it out. And then our pre-wax oil, a little tiny bit goes a long way. Again, everyone that has seen me work, that has listened to me teach before, I love to lather my people up. So I overuse the oil all the time still. In this pump bottle, it does make it a little bit easier to control how much you're getting. But again, a little bit goes a very long way. I go through probably 2 or 3 of the LYCOTANE throughout a year. I go through like one bottle every year and a half of the oil. So you're not going to use a ton. This particular one does have apricot kernel oil, jasmine is the base there, and chamomile as well. So again, you can see the similarities. We're talking about anti-inflammatory and just that jasmine, a little bit of oil in there to create that barrier between the skin and the wax. So strip wax by LYCON is extremely gentle on the skin. It has a really wonderful smooth glide to it. It's not sticky, which we love so much. There's the blend of natural and aromatherapy oils in some of them to add some scent to it. It does condition and soothe the skin. Some of them do, right? And then there's the different technologies, the LYCOTEC, and then your original LYCON. Okay, so let's get into that. So we've already talked about this, right? The LYCOTEC white strip wax. This is that mineral resin. This is that synthetic resin. This is for the hyposensitive clients, the ones that you look at them and they immediately turn red. The LYCOTEC is great for them. Let's also get a little bit into some of these other ingredients, because you are going to see them a lot throughout this presentation, and I want you to know what they are. And again, these are some of those ingredients that you'll see across other lines as well. So these are some of those tips to kind of help you figure out what you like and what you don't like. Micromica is actually it's a powder, and it's added in and it helps reduce that sticky tackiness that's left behind in waxes. The micromica helps reduce that. It also adds that really pretty shimmery color that we like so much. And depending on the powder, it will depend on what color the product actually is. So this particular, it's the white strip, so the color is white. There's also titanium dioxide, which again, if you've ever heard me speak, titanium dioxide is probably my favorite ingredient because two reasons. One, it's the anti-inflammatory that is in your wax. Two, titanium dioxide creates more of a creamy texture. I love creamy texture things. Love them. Love creamy textures. Those I will always reach for. That is a physical feeling for me. I just like that, the way it feels. Doesn't mean that it works any better than a gel. That's just my own personal preference. So that titanium dioxide, that always gives you that hint. It's going to be a little more on that cream texture, okay? But again, first and foremost, it's that anti-inflammatory. There's some vanilla in there. It adds a little scent. It does actually smell like coconut as well. So there's a little bit of that in this too. This doesn't have a very strong scent. I am sensitive to scents only because I've smelled so many things for so long in my tiny little room that I don't like overly fragrant things. The LYCOTEC is really great for that. Again, it's not highly scented. Also why it's very good for your very sensitive skins. So these two, the So Berry and the Active Gold, I wanted them together because they're fairly similar. They're fairly similar because again, if you look at the couple of the ingredients that we put up here, they both got that micromica. So the So Berry Delicious, the micromica is a pink, it's like a pink red color. It's really pretty and it's shiny and we like it. But the micromica, again, creates that less sticky texture in both of these. There is some titanium dioxide in there. So again, it creates with these two, it is more still of a gel base. There's not a ton of titanium dioxide to really create that thick texture. But there is enough that, again, we're getting that anti-inflammatory ingredient in there. And then the So Berry has a strawberry scent. So if you want something that is scented, the So Berry is where you'd go. If you want something that is going to still go on translucent, really nice and thin, has that micromica and the titanium dioxide, the Active Gold is where you'd go instead. This one does have some chamomile in it. There is no scent to the Active Gold. It is a very pretty gold color. So if you do have male clients, I would probably go into the Active Gold instead of having the strawberry scented one. But that, again, that's just me. But they work, their performance is the word I want. The performance is exactly the same. Goes on really nice and smooth. You're going to use less product on the skin, right? So we're going to make more. These two also both come in that 8-ounce tin and in the 800 milliliters. The rosette strip. So I'm going to answer your question now because you're going to ask what my favorite wax is. Again, if we're going to base it on what I've already told you, I love creamy textured things. What makes things creamy? The titanium dioxide. So the rosette strip is one of my favorites because it is a thicker, heftier, creamy textured wax. It does have rose in there. Again, not highly scented by any means because I do enjoy it in my room. And it does have chamomile. So again, we've got those anti-inflammatories. So why are you going to choose a gel over a creamy texture? It's going to really be personal preference to you. I do think, though, that as far as if I have a male client who has a ton of hair or a female client, it doesn't necessarily matter. When I'm dealing with kind of thicker, coarser, maybe drier skin, I do end up always reaching more for that rosette strip wax than I do a gel. Because if you're dealing with drier skin, dehydrated skin, the clients that aren't very good at their home care, which you should be shaming them and telling them they're supposed to be. The rosette strip to me works a little bit smoother on the skin for those. It doesn't grab the skin as hefty as the gel waxes do. Again, personal preference. But I do love the rosette strip. So again, that titanium dioxide, your anti-inflammatory, again, creating that great thick texture. The Agilene strip, sorry guys, I still have to keep drinking my coffee. It's still kind of early. The Agilene strip, this also does come in those two sizes, the 800 milliliter and the 14 ounce tin. So this is one of the originals. Okay, so again, we don't have a ton of extra extra ingredients in there. This really is just the Agilene. That's your anti-inflammatory, your chamomile, also anti-inflammatory in there, and it just has that original pine resin blend. So this one's very straightforward. This is a great one to start with. Easy, gel texture, great for everyone. Again, Agilene, anti-inflammatory. So we're not getting really fancy with our ingredients. It's that original pine resin works so well, but again, more of that gel type texture. Okay. Now the aloe vera, excuse me, and the olive oil, these two are very similar texture-wise. Okay. Gel texture. They are thicker though. The aloe in general, I can use my words today, guys, geez. Aloe in general tends to have that thicker kind of consistency, but it still is gel based. So both of these are going to go on. They're going to be translucent on the skin. These again are going to be a little more straightforward for you. The aloe vera has the aloe and the almond oil in there. So the almond oil can be very, what's the word I want? It can be hydrating, not that we're hydrating the skin with our wax, because we're clearly not going to technically do that, but because almond oil can be kind of on that hydrating side with the oil itself, it allows that slip on there and it can nourish the skin a bit. Again, if we're dealing with the really dehydrated skins. Same thing with the olive oil. The difference is the oil that's in there, right? So this one is, the aloe is aloe based, the olive oil strip is olive oil based. Olive oil is great for the skin, we know, and this one does also have that sweet almond oil in there as well. Keep in mind with these two in particular, when you have an oil in your wax, sometimes it can hold a little bit of heat in there. Now, when I say heat, don't be scared of that. We all think hot wax, we immediately like, ah! LYCON in general is not hot. It shouldn't be hot. It should be warm. And when I say warm, that's what I mean. I mean warm, not hot. You don't want to put it on your client. And if your client says it's hot, that actually means it's too hot. It's a very low temperature, which is so great, right? So we can go over the skin multiple times without doing any damage. We're not overheating the skin. We're not in fear of actually burning our client. But with these two, if you have an oil in there, the oil itself can hold a little bit of heat. So I tend to keep these a little bit lower in temperature and just really mix them up before I use them. Your client really actually doesn't feel any extra heat with them, just to keep that in mind though. The Magnifico strip, love this one. So the Magnifico is very similar to the So Berry and the Active Gold that we've already gotten into, right? So again, we've got that micro mica, which all of you know now, right? That's a powder that it's going to help reduce that stickiness. There's chamomile in here, and it smells like sandalwood. So it was created for man, right? Magnifico. I use it on everyone, men, woman, whatever. It doesn't matter the type of person that you're working on. The Magnifico, again, works very similar to that Active Gold or the So Berry. So let's say you wanted something that had a little bit of a scent, but you didn't love the strawberry scent. The Magnifico is a great one to do because it has a little bit of that sandalwood, not too much, so it's not overbearing. Again, nice and thin application. It's going to be translucent on the skin. It has a very beautiful blue color to it, actually, which I enjoy. And I do have a lot of male clients, so they do kind of like this one. But again, as far as performance, performs the same. We started this. We're very excited about this. Trivia time. So Wendy's going to pop on here and she is going to take over the trivia time. Now, if you were listening, which I hope you were, all of your questions, all of the answers, we've already answered all of what the questions are. So hopefully you remember.
All right, everybody, just trying to give you a little brain break. I know it's a lot of information. So, and to be honest with you, we're new at this, so we're gonna try it out and see how it goes. But here is the first one. What famous music group flew LYCON Wax to a location in the US so they could be waxed on tour? Give you a few minutes to answer. Good job, everybody. I think you can answer in your control box. All right, I think we're good. 94% said Spice Girls. Yay! That is the correct one.
Yep.
All right, next one. LYCON's headquarters is located in what city in Australia? Did we mention that, Tiff?
Yep, I did in the beginning.
The answers are coming in.
I probably didn't say it very well, though.
That's all right. We just think this is a fun fact because of the color. LYCON's favorite color, now that we're done, LYCON's favorite color is pink. So we've got 63% coming in at Pinkemba. Probably saying that wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Hypoallergenic waxes are based on which resin? What resin are you looking for when you look for a hypoallergenic wax? All right. We've got 65% saying the synthetic resin, which is correct. I don't know, Tiff, if you want to just talk about that for a second so everyone understands why that's important.
So let's remember that synthetic resin, that is what creates the wax to be a hypoallergenic wax. That's what creates that non-allergic reaction, basically. So your pine and beeswax resins, those are what is in general in all of your waxes. When that synthetic resin's in there, that one is what creates the hypoallergenic, because it's not going to create that same allergic reaction, that redness or hives, things like that. So you're looking for the synthetic. Some people say mineral, some people say synthetic.
Okay, awesome. Last one. Titanium dioxide in waxes help with which condition? Okay, awesome. We got 88% in the correct answer as an anti-inflammatory.
Good job, guys.
Cool.
I know I've said a ton already, so I am impressed.
Yes. Thank you. Right back to Tiff.
All right. So we have, let's flip back. There we go. So we have now gone into, we've gone through all of our strip waxes, right? So let's get into our hard waxes. They are marked as hot wax. That is how Lydia in Europe actually generally refers to the hard waxes. It's called a hot wax. I like to put hard in there because hot wax tends to freak people out, right? Hot wax, nobody wants hot wax. Well, it's not technically hot, so I'd like to take the word out. So we're gonna go through all of our hard stripless waxes now. So these are, they're gonna remove short hair. They, again, low temperature. They're good for the face and the body. They're strong, which is what we want. But when I say strong, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be aggressive on the skin, right? Strong to get the hair out, not damaging the skin. You can reapply over the same area multiple times, just like you can, by the way, with the strip waxes. We do have the different technologies. So the LYCON Hot, that's the original. The LYCOTech is that hypoallergenic, the synthetic resin. The LYCO Dream is that blend of the synthetic and the pine pine beeswax blend there. And then the LYCO Jet is the strongest pine resin. So here we go with, these two are very similar. So I wanted to lump them together for you. The difference is the color and the scent. Performance, the same. So the Rosette Hot has chamomile, it has rose. So it is the twin of the strip version, but this is the hard version, right? And it has that titanium dioxide. So creamy, thick, fabulous, obviously going to be the one that I love because it is that creamier texture, right? The So Yummy smells like chocolate. So if you really wanted to, you could blend. It just doesn't look pretty, but you can always have the Rosette strip wax and the So Yummy Hot, and then you can make a Valentine's Day thing for next year, or like roses and strawberry and roses, or strawberry and roses, strawberry and chocolate, right, for your waxes. The So Yummy Hot, again, they work exactly the same. Nice, thick, creamy texture. The So Yummy does have that micro mica in there. So that also creates that really pretty shimmery brown color. But again, that titanium dioxide creates that anti-inflammatory for you. So here are your other twinsies, the So Berry Delicious and the Magnifico. These are the twins of the strip versions. They also come in a hard wax version as well. So again, the So Berry is that titanium dioxide. It's got the micro mica, so it's still nice and pretty and shimmery, pinkish, reddish color, and it does have that strawberry scent. The Magnifico, again, performance-wise, texture-wise, these are exactly the same. The Magnifico Hot has the titanium dioxide, the micro mica, but it also has the chamomile, and it has that sandalwood scent to it. So again, if you want a scented, but you don't like strawberries, the sandalwood is a nice way to go. If you don't want a musky scent, the strawberry scent is a nice way to go. So again, you can mix and match these. So again, we can go with the Magnifico strip wax and the So Berry Hot, and then you can have different colors and scents that blend together. They actually smell nice together. But again, similar textures, and the performance is the same. So the Azuline Hot, again, we've got the original formula. It's got chamomile, Azuline, and there's that gel texture. Okay, they do come in these bricks, which we do have a YouTube video. If you forget how to break these, I'll explain how to break them up, but we do have it as a YouTube video. So if you do purchase these and you're like, how do I get this out? And you forget how I tell you, we actually demo it on there, which I think is helpful. So these bricks, I do actually love, to be honest. When you want to break them up, I smash them on the ground. It makes me happy, takes all of my excess energy. Also, you can stick it in a bowl, hit it with a hammer. And I take the chunks, and I do actually don't mind the chunks. I think it's pretty easy because throughout the day, I just keep adding a chunk after any of my services. I keep those chunks in a box, a nice little closed box that's on my trolley that is marked as wax. So there's a couple of different ways to get these out of the tins here. It's actually pretty easy. Now, going into the LYCO Jet Hot, this one is that different technology. Again, we're going with the more straightforward. It's the strongest pine resin. There's an eyebrow version, and then there's two. The eyebrow version, the difference is this one has chamomile extract. The other two, the desert rose and the lavender, those two are exactly the same. One is lavender though, and one is a desert rose. They don't really, to me, they're not very scented, but the lavender that's in there, that's the anti-inflammatory, and the desert rose, it has rose in there, that's going to help with that if there's inflammation. These are what we consider the tweezer wax. These are the waxes that really is going to get those short, angry hairs that you can't get out. The LYCOJET is where we want to go with that. These are what I also like to say is there's a little bit of a learning curve with them because they're nice and strong. It's very gentle on the skin, so don't worry about that part. The skin itself is still going to be beautiful, even on your sensitive clients. Let's say you have a redheaded client, which we know that hair for some reason is the hardest to get out in the world. And we love our redheads though. Let's say you have a redhead, but redheads are generally also fair skinned and they can be very reactive. The LYCOJET's going to get their hair out, but not create that irritation, which is again the beautiful thing. So the LYCOJET is going to be that really strong pine resin. Now, with that, it can break. So that thing that we hate so much, but it can snap on you. Once you get the movement, how many to apply, excuse me, how thick, how thin, it works amazing. So I always say there's a little bit of a learning curve with this, but it's not actually too hard to learn with. You just need to take a second with it. But the LYCOJETs are a great option for your hard wax. Here we go into that LYCOTech White Hot. Mineral resin, right? So there's that synthetic. This is for the hypersensitive. It's a hypoallergenic wax. It's creamy because it's got some titanium dioxide in there, but it's flexible. So the mineral, the synthetic resin is what creates that flexibility. This one is so great for those really hypersensitive skins, the ones that you have tried every other wax on and they still get really red, or they welt, or they hive. The LYCOTech White is generally the way to go with those clients. It has a nice coconut scent. Again, it's just like the strip wax, just in the hard version. So the LYCO Dream, and this one's new, the Magnifico Hybrid. I am loving the Magnifico Hybrid. It works just like the LYCO Dream, but for some reason I'm really enjoying the blue and the sandalwood in there. So let's go back. The LYCO Dream, we call it a dream because it's the blend of the best of both worlds. It's the pine resin, so there's strength. There's the mineral synthetic resin in there, that's the flexibility, okay? And the LYCO Dream, the dream itself, it smells like strawberries, which obviously is a little bit of a theme here. We like strawberries. It doesn't have a very strong scent, so you're not overwhelming yourself. This one, if we want to use a hard wax on the whole body, these are the ones that you could do that with. They have enough flexibility for you to get farther down. So you will be able to cover from knee to toe with one pull of the LYCO Dream or the Magnifico. Again, if you wanted to do full legs or full body with hard wax, these would be the two that I would probably gear you towards because there's a little more flexibility. The Magnifico Hybrid, this one's great. So again, works just like the Dream. It's got the blend, but the Magnifico also has the titanium dioxide. It's got the micro mica, and it has the sandalwood. So it's going to have a little bit more of that musky scent. The titanium dioxide creates a little bit of a creamier texture, and that micro mica allows for that color and the non-stickiness of the product. Okay. Again, can be used exactly the same body parts, same hair textures, all of that. So the Bikini Hot is actually considered, I consider it it is also a hybrid, but it doesn't have an equal, it's not equal parts of the mineral and pine blend. So there's still more pine resin in there, which creates more strength. The mineral adds just enough flexibility to it. It is a creamier texture. It also does have chamomile in there. So there's your soothing product in there. The Pinkini does have a very strong scent to it to me. There's a full line that goes with it. So if you are very into female Brazilian, if you're, you know, female Brazilian heavy in your service, in your treatment room, the Pinkini is a nice one to have in there. Again, smells, I can't pinpoint the actual scent, to be honest, I forgot. It's not one that she uses often either, but again, this is going to be a little more scented. Works beautifully. It has a really nice, strong grip to it with the pine, but again, you have more time and flexibility to play around with it. All right, so let's get into our pre-post perfections. We have 4 products here, and they're great. The great thing, again, about LYCON is you have an array of items to choose from. We have the Tea Tree Soothe. So tea tree is obviously in there. There's rose and chamomile as well. The Tea Tree Soothe is a cream. Okay, it's a lotion. If you like lotions and you love tea tree, the Soothe is where you want to go. The Tea Tree Perfect is the oil version, basically, of the Tea Tree Soothe. The Perfect has the apricot, sweet almond, it has tea tree, it also has lavender. Okay, so again, that's your oil base. So you can have the Tea Tree Perfect. If you're using a strip wax, it's great for that. If you like the creamy creams after your hard waxes, the Soothe is where you'd go. If we hate tea tree, totally fine. We have something for you. The Perfect Finish. The Perfect Finish is also an oil. Okay, it has apricot, sweet almond, and it does have lavender. It's more of a lavender scent. Again, not heavily scented, but the Perfect Finish is more on that lavender side. So if you have anyone that doesn't enjoy a tea tree, your clients have an allergy to it, whatnot, the Perfect Finish is a nice oil to have. The chamomile lotion is exactly what it is. There's shea butter, there's rose, and there's chamomile. So again, if we want a lotion, but we're not a tea tree lover, the chamomile is beautiful. It's very light. It's a great gentle scent. It's nice and hydrating and soothing to the skin for after your waxes. So again, you can mix and match these obviously as well and decide which one you like. Again, they work, the job is the same. They work the same. You're just talking about a different ingredient or a different scent to get to your end goal, right? And your end goal is always going to be calming, soothing, and hydrating the skin when we're done with our waxing services. Now, retail, especially right now, you can still, we'll talk about this at the end, but Alexander's is doing drop shipping for you right now for your clients. You're going to charge your client for shipping, but if they're running out of products, which they might be during this time, you definitely want to make sure that they're still coming to you so you can get them their products. Our retail is really important in general for after waxing, right? So LYCON does have sugar scrubs. We have lotion scrubs and sets. We have one of my favorite ingrown potions, which is the ingrown exit. And there's an anti-bump foaming gel, which I also love, the tea tree wash, and there's a lotion. And then there's a Pinkini intimate wash and lightening serum. So we do have some kits we'll show you here. Her sugar scrubs are great because they're not oily. They're actually oil-free. So the scrubbing is kind of what I like to consider more of an intense type of scrub. They don't necessarily need to use it every day, but it actually has more of a gel texture to it. It's really interesting, but it's really nice for, again, your at-home daily exfoliation or every other day, however you want your clients to exfoliate. These are available to you. Now there's sets here. These, again, the oil scrub that you saw, and there's a lotion that goes with it. So the sets we have in different flavors. There's the pomegranate, grapefruit, and the coconut vanilla. So you have scrub and lotion. Lotions right now are going to be huge, guys, because everyone needs to wash their hands. Hopefully everyone has learned, the general public has learned how to wash their hands, because we as estheticians are very good at it already, right? So the lotions are definitely something that I would start promoting and bringing up to your clients. Here are my favorites. I actually combine these together in a kit myself. The Ingrown Exit, I love this one because, one, it's a spray. So it's very easy to use. You get out of the shower, you spray it where it needs to go. You don't need to rub or whatever, which is one of the reasons why I like it. There's also lactic in this one. And what we know about lactic, I love lactic. I'm a lactic lover. Lactic is a hydrating exfoliant. So even though there's that salicylic in there, which we also love to help kill bacteria, the lactic is going to help make sure that the skin is hydrated. So this little kit here with the Ingrown Exit, it also comes with a scrubbing mitt, which is awesome. And then you compare that with the anti-bump, the foaming gel. I love this one for the clients that are like, I have acne on my back. How do I fix that? This is so great, the anti-bump one. It's a foaming gel, so there's arnica, calendula. So again, we've got anti-inflammatories in there, but you can put this on your little scrubby mitt and have them scrub with it, and then they can spray their Ingrown Exit a couple of times a week on top of that, right? So, and then obviously we want to sell them a lotion, but these are a great kit to put together. To be honest, the tea tree wash I actually have in my office as the hand soap because I like it so much. Because again, it's not going to be really stripping and dehydrating to the skin. Because again, we have to wash our hands a trillion times. I clearly want to protect the actual skin on my hands as well. So the tea tree wash is so great. So let's say you don't necessarily need the anti-bump one on top of the Ingrown Exit solution for your client. Throw the tea tree wash in there as their body wash instead. Those are great to switch or interchange. And then there's the Tea Tree Soothe. Excuse me, this is the same as our aftercare, the pro size. It's the same great lotion that you can actually retail. So it's nice and light. It sinks in really well. So again, this is a great one to retail if you want to put these together as a kit and retail them for your clients, one either in the shower for their whole body, or they can also buy a couple of sets and have one in each of their bathrooms, because people are really going to want lotion right after they've washed their hands now as well. It's a great pairing together. So the Pinkini, this is a whole great system that you can promote for yourself in your marketing, right? So if you're going to specialize in Brazilians, the Pinkini is one of the ways to go, because they can buy the home care that goes along with the wax product that you actually used in your room. So the Pinkini wash is really good to help balance the pH. It is made for the more sensitive areas, right? And it does again have that, that's what it is. It's the scent is the Tasman berry. I knew there was a name. I knew it was a berry. Couldn't remember the name. So it's the Tasman berry. That's the scent actually of all of the products, the wax as well. So this is that great wash. A little bit goes very long way. And then there's also a lightening serum. You are going to find, if you don't already, you are going to find that your clients are going to end up with, if they pick, because clients are pickers, when they have ingrowns, they're going to end up with discoloration, right? So this serum is going to help with that. So there's vitamin C, which is great. There's beta glucan, which is also really healing. And there's some hyaluronic acid. So we're going to be hydrating that area as well. So it is made for the sensitive areas. It's made for the bikini. I think it's also great for the underarms, to be honest, because some people do end up with some pigment under their arms as well. So this is a great at-home set also. We have handouts, guys. We're so excited about these handouts, to be honest. Hopefully they're in the handouts section there. In the control panel that you see, there's a little tab that says handouts. There's 2, okay? So click on those, download those into onto your computer. One of them, the handout itself, is how to choose the right wax for you. So we created this, and it's for LYCON, how to pick out of the LYCON waxes which one you want, right? So it has a nice, we tried to make it pretty straightforward and easy. And the other one's just a fun one. It's just fun, interesting facts about LYCON as well. Okay, guys, let's get into the questions. So Wendy's gonna pop back in here.
Pop back in
and
here.
help me out with those.
Okay, we already have some questions in, but just a reminder on your control panel in the question box, feel free to put questions in and we'll get to as many as we can. If you guys can stay on longer than 11, we'll go through all of them as we ended up doing yesterday. I also wanted to point out in the chat box on the right, if you can see the chat box, there is a link to the LYCON section of our website. Some people are asking about pricing. You could go to our website and get the pricing for all of the products that we were referring to. So that was, just wanted to point out those 2 things. Okay, Tiffany, first question is from Michelle St. Pierre, and a customer for a long time. Do you ever mix waxes?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. I love this question, to be honest with you. I totally mix waxes. Now, when you're going to do that though, just make sure it's the same texture. Because otherwise, because I've done it, which is why I'm telling you to put the same textures together, because I've definitely mixed a gel with a cream and it doesn't really work as it works. It gets a little funky, but absolutely. So the ones I tend to tell you to actually mix a little bit together is I take the LYCOTEX, the LYCOTEX white strip and the white hot. Don't mix those 2 together. You don't want to mix strip and hard together, but take the strip wax. If you love the rosette strip wax, let's say that's one that you love, but you want a little more anti-inflammatory, or you want to maybe thin it out a little bit, throw a little bit of the LYCOTEX white in there. That's going to kind of help thin it out. But because the LYCOTEX still has that creamier texture, it's not going to mess with the texture itself, but it will help smooth it out a little bit sometimes. So you can absolutely mix them up, mix away.
Okay, awesome. What is your favorite hard wax?
So let's go back into the ingredients, right? What makes a creamy textured wax? That's the one I want, right? So I generally always go for the rosette because that is our heftiest, thickest one. The Magnifico hybrid just came out a couple months ago, and I have to use them all. Just so you guys know, I do use every single one of them. I just kind of cherry pick when I don't have glasses what I tend to keep in my own office. But the Magnifico came out a couple of months ago, and I've actually kept that one in. Which the girls in the office were like, oh, you obviously really like that one, because it has that creamier texture for me, which I love. I can put it on thin if I want, I can put it on thick if I want, but it allows a little more flexibility for me, but it still has that great strength that I really love and need.
Okay, thanks. Are there different purposes for the Azulene Hot versus the Rosette / So Yummy versus So Berry / Magnifico?
No, you're really, again, performance on all of these is the same across the board. So you're really dealing more with texture. So the Azulene, again, since that one is one of the originals, that one only has azulene in there. It's very straightforward. There's nothing else fancy. Where the So Yummy, the the So Berry, those two have the scents, which you can, you know, take or leave, which creates a little bit more excitement for some people. But again, as far as performance wise, across the board, they will all work the same. Again, you're just getting into more of, if you want specifics, if you want to be a little fancier and have a scent and upsell that to your clients, or not, basically. But you're going to get the same job done with any of them.
Okay. Can you use the lightening serum under the arms?
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, you could use it on your face. So it's made for the sensitive area, but it's perfectly fine for your face as well, and your underarms, wherever you get ingrowns or pigmentation.
Okay,
I
awesome.
like multitasking things, just so you know.
Yeah. Great retail.
For my Bostonian, I have a Dunkin' Donuts cup, just so you know. I love Boston.
A big one. And it's pink.
Of course.
Okay. A long question from Jessica.
Okay.
Hi, Tiffany. I just moved from France 2 months ago, and I used LYCON in my new salon in LA. This is brand new for me, and I have some questions.
Yeah.
When I remove the hard wax using rosette or lavender, most of the time the wax breaks or is broken. I've tried to wait more time to remove it or to apply more wax to remove a few seconds after the application, but it breaks most of the time. That's the first question. I'll let you answer that one, and then we'll have a follow-up.
Okay. So the breaking is normal. I hate to tell you that. So the reason why, so with, you said the rosette, what was the other one, Wendy?
Lavender.
And the lavender. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here are the two things here. The rosette is going to break on you when you leave it too long, or it's going on too thin. The rosette needs to actually be, I say thicker texture, but I really mean like that thick. So it doesn't need to be thick, not like this, but it does need to be a little bit thicker because it will dry too fast on you. So the rosette itself, it needs to go on a little bit thicker. Otherwise it will break. Or you're not getting it off fast enough. The other thing that can happen with both of these, across the board actually, if you don't have enough oil down and the skin's dry, dehydrated, the wax is automatically going to break. Because when you're putting wax on dry, dehydrated skin, the skin's really excited that there's something warm and moist, so it's going to hold on, which when it does that, and then you go to try to remove it, it's going to break because the wax, the moisture of the wax has already been sucked out basically, and it's latched onto the skin instead. So make sure you do have enough oil down, because that will always kind of immediately make it snap off. The LYCOJET is a little bit more temperamental with that. So the jet, it does go on really thin. I tend to say only apply 2 strips down at a time. So let's say you're doing eyebrows, put one here, immediately take off there, then take off there, right? If you're doing bikini, put on one side, put another strip down, take one off, take 2 off, right? Until you get the consistency of it. If you're still challenged with this, by the way, I do a lot, just so everyone is aware, I do a lot with our clients. I do FaceTiming with them so I can actually see your pot and we can kind of go over that kind of stuff together. Once we're able to get back into the office, I'll be able to do more of that. And I want to say we do have some things on YouTube as well to go around with texture, just so you can kind of see what the product should look like. But yeah, so oil, make sure there's oil down, make sure the rosette's a little bit thicker, and just make sure that you're with the LYCOJET, just put 2 down at once and try to get, you got to move a little faster with that one. Hopefully that answered it.
Yes, let us know, Jessica, if that doesn't answer it. And there were other questions about breakage too, so that I think answered a few. She would also like to know which spatula you use for strip wax. In France, they can still use aluminum spatulas.
So there's actually, good question. So for strip waxes, we do have reusable sticks. Now,
Want me to show
don't freak
you?
out when I say reusable, guys. Reusable meaning you use it once, you sanitize it, right? So and I don't have any. Oh, Wendy, yay, Wendy can show you what I'm talking about. They are plastic. They're awesome. Yep, there you go. So these reusable sticks, these are great for bigger body parts. So what I do is I use it, I do my application, and then I have a cup that has our wax buster, our wax buster in it, and then I take that plastic spatula and I stick it in there so that it starts to soak the wax off. Then I clean it off and I can sanitize those. So I put those in my quats when I'm done with the whole service. So those we do have, those are great for less waste, but we also do have wooden sticks that you use once and throw it away. So the plastic ones I actually really do like because I'm using a lot less. One, I'm using less product, but two, I'm using less sticks in general. So I take those for my bigger areas, chest, backs, legs. I can do more sections on that with 2 or 3 of those plastic spatulas instead of like 20 of the wooden ones. I'm still getting my words, guys. I don't have enough interaction during the day. So yeah, we do have those as
Thank you. And as we're talking about other products that are in here, I'm putting links into the chat box for everybody. So if you see, like, just put the link for the reusable waxing stick as well. A couple questions on, and I know you addressed it, but maybe address it again. A couple questions on breaking up the hard wax, how to break it up and put it into the wax pot.
into things. So we take our wax, and what I do is I hold it this way, and I either do actually smash it on the ground in a plastic bag because you are going to keep it in that tin container that it comes in, and you can actually smash that up. So I hit it one side, and then I flip it around, and then I hit it on the other side, and then it breaks apart in big chunks, and I take those chunks and I put them in a box with a lid that's just for my wax. So I put those chunks in there, and then throughout the day with a gloved hand, I take them out and put them in. You can also take a hammer, get a big metal bowl. I am in my kitchen, I could probably find one. Big metal bowl, take a hammer and smash it up in that metal bowl, and then you can take those chunks and put them in whatever apparatus you like to have your wax in. So again, you can actually, if you check out YouTube, Alexander's YouTube, it's on there. So
Yes, I'll put the link up as well in our classes section, our classes webpage on our website. If you scroll down where you signed up for the webinars, there is a list of kind of approved YouTube videos, because there's a lot of stuff out there that we want to make sure that it's the right technique. So we have approved YouTube videos, and there's a section for LYCON in there, and there is one on how to break up the wax in there as well. All right, what is the best wax for peach fuzz?
Well, it depends on if you like a strip wax, I mean, honestly, any of them. If we're talking about the face, if you like strip wax on the face, any of them would be great. I, again, would probably move into more of the rosette for that, because again, I do like that creamier. If you want really thin, the active gold is great. Hard wax wise, the jet, any of the jets. Those will be phenomenal for the peach fuzz.
Great. What about for brows?
Jet. The LYCOJET one for brows is great because of that extra little added ingredient. It has a little more flexibility than the jets, but the one that's for brows is great. It actually also, just so everyone knows, so you don't have to have a whole pot. The brow jet does come in a smaller container, and we do have a small, it's about this big, we have a small wax warmer, so you can have one that's specifically just for the face. in your room without, again, having a whole massive pot of it.
Okay, great. Back to the Pinkini serum. Is it okay or good to use for clients who do laser?
Yeah, I don't see why not, to be honest. Anyone that's doing any kind of lasers, all of that kind of stuff, you want to make sure that they're not using it right after their treatments for the most part. You still want to be cognizant of that, but I mean, there's nothing in there that's gonna, depending on the probably Fitzpatrick scale, maybe. No, even then, it's pretty much good for anyone across the board. Yeah, anyone that can use
Yeah.
vitamin C.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we're getting a couple of questions that people would like to see demos. And just to let everybody know, we are working on it. We have a little bit of an issue because we can't get models because we're in quarantine. So we, eventually want to get there, and we have the technology set up to start doing demos, but because of the quarantine, we are not doing that now. We're trying to be creative. So just to answer a couple of those questions, but thank you. We're just trying to work through
We
all of
will
it.
get there. Yeah, we will definitely get there.
Let's see. Okay, question from Jenna Sanchez. I've tried the Lyco Dream before, and I think I just have a hard time with creams. I seem to get more hair breakage and just not getting all the hairs when I use creamy waxes. Any tips or tricks?
Don't use creamy waxes if you don't like them. Because
Mhm.
so again, that's a texture thing, right? If you're challenged with the way that one's going on. So also remember the Lyco Dream, it has both of those technologies. So keep in mind when that synthetic resin is in there, I don't like to say it dulls, but that's kind of the only way to describe it. It'll slightly dull the pine resin in there, so it's not as strong necessarily. So I'm not always surprised by that. That you're not the only person that happens to, so don't feel like you are. It isn't for everyone. So if I were you, I would just stick with any of the originals, and go into more of either not. I wouldn't pick the rosette, because if we don't like that creamy texture, the rosette isn't where I'd go. So berry, the Magnifico, not the hybrid, but the Magnifico might be something that you would like too. The Magnifico and the So Berry, again, they have the micro mica in there. It's more of that gel texture. There is some titanium dioxide, but it's not really thick and creamy necessarily. But it doesn't have that synthetic resin, which may be more of where your challenge is with it. You might like those better.
Okay, awesome. So it's a little bit after 11. I just want to point out that we'll keep going, Tiff, if you're okay with that, to answer questions. If people need to drop off, this is getting recorded and it's going to be posted on our website by tomorrow. And you can just fast forward to the end to, if you want to get through if you want to hear the questions that people are asking. Okay, which soft wax would you recommend for Brazilians? This customer, Aurora, is not really crafty at using hard wax, so would like a recommendation for a soft wax.
Yeah, absolutely. So I generally will gear more towards the Lyco Tech White Hot for that. If you need a stronger one as well, I would say maybe the Magnifico strip would be a good one too, because again, it's got enough titanium dioxide in there that it's a little more anti-inflammatory, but the micro mica makes it less sticky for you, which I really like, and especially in that area. So either one of those would probably be, or again, you can mix those together a little bit and create your own little blend of them.
Okay. All right, we have a question from Reina. I have a client that has a major ingrown hairs in her Brazilian area. She uses, and she's also retailed her the ingrown sugar scrub and anti-bump wash. Would you recommend anything else?
Wendy, you froze on me really quick, so repeat that.
Oh, no problem. So Reina has a client who has ingrown hairs in the Brazilian. She uses Pinkini and Lycojet lavender and she's retailed her the Ingrown Exit Sugar Scrub and Anti-Bump Wash. Would you recommend anything else?
I am a person that actually does chemical peels on the top of the pelvic area for those that are really challenged with the ingrowns. Also, a dry brush isn't a bad idea, also to help at home, but it kind of depends on the type of ingrown. So if we're talking about larger pustules that happen, then I go with a glycolic peel, and I actually will do a series of that on the skin. When I'm saying that, the Skin Script is the line that I use for that, and I'll do a series. I'll do it once a week for 6 weeks or however long you think, and do some extractions and gently extract those out. And to be honest, sometimes I'll flip out and take away the ingrown exit. And Skin Script also has what's called the glycolic retinol pads, and I have people use that on the area, because that, again, if you're talking about more like papule pustule ingrowns, that is going to help actually clean the follicle out. It's going to exfoliate the skin. It will help with the pigmentation, and it's not going to be too aggressive necessarily. If you're talking about more, people tend to forget to hydrate that area, to be honest with you. So if your client isn't putting any lotion on the top of the pelvic bone, then we need to get her into that. So if your ingrowns are more of just that it can't break through the dead skin and it's just curling itself under, but there's no inflammation that goes along with it, we're dealing with dehydrated skin. So I would go and make sure that she's really exfoliating, but that we're adding more hydration back. So even something, the vitamin C serum is good. There's some hyaluronic acid in there, but again, I may end up flipping that out, and I would give them the Ageless Serum by Skin Script, or if you like C.A. Botana, the Ginkgosome, one of those two, because they're heavier in the hyaluronic, and that is actually really going to help hydrate the skin so that you can get those hairs out. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yes. Okay, what is the best tip for following up with a client to sell retail after a service, from Carrie?
All of my clients get a thank you for coming a couple of days later. It's an automatic email out of my system. So you can add in there, or if you personally want to send them an email, then I would just throw in a, hey, either sample, let me back up, so sorry. So much information in my head, I have no one to talk to tell it to right now. So when you're done with the service, what you can do to start is, if they're a new client, give them a little gift bag after with samples, not full-size things, just little samples of your scrubs or whatnot, whatever your aftercare that you want to retail to them. Give them a little sample of it with instructions of how to take care of the skin after. Give them a little sample, say, here, I want you to try this at home, use the exfoliant a couple of days after X, Y, and Z, then use the lotion, X, Y, and Z. And then I would do the follow-up email. Hey, wanted to check in, see if you were able to try out those sample products. If you're looking to purchase them, I can ship them to you, drop them off, however you want to deal with that. I am a sampler. I do like giving people the options of trying things out first, because I think one of the worst things is you sell something and they're like, I hate that. And then they don't ever really want to buy anything from you again, because they're like, well, I didn't like the last thing that you gave me. And then they go off in the world and buy all sorts of other stuff. So if you give them the option to try things out first, build the trust that way, and then you can start selling them the full size. That's how I do it.
Okay, thank you. All right, I grabbed one of our bricks, because this next question is asking about the XXX, you know, on the Soberry.
Yeah, Lydia just likes, Lydia just added all of that just to, it kind of shows, the purpose is to show the strength of it. So the triple X is going to be the stronger of them, but I mean, again, they're all pretty equal in that. So the strength of that, there's no mineral resin in that one. So again, we're not dulling it down at all. It's not going to be, doesn't have the same flexibility necessarily, but it does have the strength. That's what the triple X means.
Okay, awesome. All right. Aniva has a question. I have a client who is a natural redhead and she is also on diabetes medication. She tends to turn extremely red and swell. We use the LYCOJET lavender at the moment. Any suggestions to combat redness and swelling?
What area are we talking about? We're talking about Brazilian is what I'm assuming, or the face, maybe?
Let's see, Aniva, if you can just pop into question. And while we're waiting for that, pop into question and let us know, Aniva, if you're still on. We've had a couple questions about products that we carry. And so LYCON Australia has some other products that we don't have in the US. And so we just want to, we have a, there's LYCON USA that is covers all of the USA and also Canada. And we get the products from LYCON USA. So what LYCON they do is try to figure out what products are best in or selling best or most, you know, are good for that region. So the ones that we have are the ones that are available to us in the United States. They do have a new product that we will be bringing in. It's the aloe vera soothing gel that just came into LYCON USA, but we do not have it yet at Alexander's. Do you know of that one, Tiff? It was brand new. Yeah, we haven't even gotten a sample or anything yet, but we do plan on getting that in and trying that out. But just to let you know, if you see things on the Australia website versus, you know, what we have, we just carry what is available to the customers in the US. All right, let's see if answered. Oh,
If
here
she
she
did
is
pop back in,
on the face.
then as far, it's for the face?
Yeah.
Okay, so cold compress. Cold compress is always a good way to go. If you have cold globes, things like that, that's a good one. There's also a mixture that I make. So we carry a product called Hail and Hush. If you have not heard of that, it is created for the sensitive skins. Hail and Hush has what's called the Relief Bio Powder. This is one of my, what I call a 911 product. I mix that in, you mix a little water with it, makes a paste because it's a powder, and then you can apply that on top. That can help immediately with that redness and inflammation that's happening. Also, when I'm done with that, I actually just take the powder by itself and I brush it onto the skin that's still really red, because it will help to cover, because it is powder, so it will help to cover, but it will keep continuing to reduce the redness a lot faster. If they don't have time to sit in the office with the paste on, just mix it in a little to-go cup and have them, I mean, some of my clients will drive out with it on their face and don't care, but that is one of my 911s, the Relief Bio Powder by Hail and Hush. That one I use, I mix that into pretty much everything of mine that I need if I need anti-inflammatory.
Okay, great. All right. Do you ever use hard wax for leg waxing?
Me personally, I don't. I like to say that I have a little PTSD from my first days of waxing, because the wax that I had, it was kind of like the LYCOJET. It would break so easily that trying to do a full leg made me want to rip all my hair out of my head. So I don't do full legs with hard wax. But again, if that was the path that you wanted to take, I would gear you to the Magnifico hybrid or the LYCO Dream, because those have enough flexibility to get and not snap and break off on you.
And one last question. Best wax for Brazilian? You might have, I think you already answered that, but we got one popping in.
Any of the hard waxes will do just fine. You're really going to base that on your client's hair. You're going to base it on the texture you prefer to work with. There isn't, I actually can't like pigeonhole one that is the best for it, because there's so many variations of clients and things like that. So any of the hard waxes that LYCON has, I can use any of them and they work beautifully. So I geared that way. So again, yeah, I'd based on your texture and what you prefer to work with.
Okay, awesome. What about thicker hair? Real thick?
So thicker hair, I go back into that creamy texture type of product just because with thicker hair, it's thick, right? There's a lot of it. So the creamier texture actually really kind of melts a little bit better onto the skin to shrink wrap around it. So I like the rosette for that because I'll emulate the hair that I'm working with. So if it's thicker, coarser, I just will pile it on there and really make sure that all of that hair is encapsulated and that the wax actually gets all the way to the skin itself. Because again, that's how it's shrink wrapping around in order to get it all out. So I'm a creamy texture version. I do think creamier textures tend to work a little better on the thicker, coarser.
All right. And I think that wraps it up. We got all the questions. Thank you for the nice comments that everybody put in. We really appreciate it and appreciate you being here. Make sure to check out our upcoming webinars. We are changing the schedule pretty much daily because we're adding new ones coming in. So even if it's not up there, we have some new ones coming up next week. We're going to try to do 2 of these a week while we are all at home and in quarantine. And thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Hopefully we see you soon.